President's Day. It's a Too Much Dip podcast. We're here. I'm Dave. As much as I love presidents, I love content more. Joining me in studio, Dylan Shivery.
Here on President's Day and feeling pretty chipper thanks to my good friend David over here bringing me a Celsius back from lunch. Much appreciated. Thank you for that, Dave.
Tropical vibe.
Yeah. I plan on contributing at an optimal level thanks to this. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. I'm also happy to have Randy Trumbacki producing.
George Washington.
Is that your number one?
Abraham Lincoln.
Those
Okay.
are the
Barack
two.
Obama.
You can name three.
Donald Trump. George Bush.
Woodrow Wilson, your favorite.
Andrew Jackson. Not a great guy.
Not a good one.
John Adams. John Quincy Adams. There's more. Joe Biden.
There are more.
Yeah.
You mentioned George Bush, but you didn't mention George Bush.
Oh yeah. I forgot. George Bush.
Yeah.
Herbert Walker.
I mean, there's definitely more.
George Herbert Walker Bush famously does not remember his whereabouts when JFK was assassinated. Doesn't remember where he was. You'd think somebody, especially as high ranking as he was at that time, would remember, like, it's a seminal moment. I remember where I was on 9/11. Was in a weightlifting class, first period. True story.
LBJ. Speaking of that,
Putting up big weight.
That time, that was senior year. Probably a decent amount for me. For me, that was probably one of the higher. That was good lifting.
Stronger your senior year of high school than you are now? A push?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like trying to be.
Yeah.
And I was 18, 17 actually, and I had more testosterone.
That's facts.
I hadn't fallen off yet.
That's
Richard Nixon.
There you go. Tricky Dick.
Ronald Reagan. Jimmy Carter.
Here's a guy who's never worked out.
KJ.
It's what it feels like. I was going to struggle to answer that question myself as far as today versus high school KJ. And I'm definitely going to have to tip the cap to high school KJ and a lift off right now. But as I always say, you give me 2 to 4 weeks and I probably got it.
Can I ask a
Probably got
question?
Yeah.
This is such like little brother energy coming from me. What are like your PRs? I want to know what like your max squat bench. I want to know what KJ does peak.
Well, that's what I was trying to add up. I probably was just over 400 bench at some point. Probably like 425-ish. I don't have like a specific number in mind, but I know I eclipsed 400 at some point.
That's
In
that's
the
a lot.
squat, it probably approached 5, but like my squat form was not super great. I'm relatively flat-footed. Nobody cares.
Ankle mobility not great.
I care.
But it does create a situation that when you're squatting, like either you're putting it all in your back and in your quads, and like you're doing it correctly without, there's no faking the funk when you're flat-footed or whatever. It was just never my like
You could bench 425.
impressive thing.
You played what, safety in college? Right?
Safety and then linebacker.
Those are numbers, KJ.
I'd probably say like without question, I could be 5 days away from like hitting 325. I could probably hit that one time with ease.
I think the
Within a 7-day window for sure.
last time I maxed out on bench, I was actually with you in Lifetime, Dave.
I remember that 275.
275, I got it.
It's weird. I remember that. Why do I remember
I think
that?
the most I've ever done is like 285, so not much more. That was basically peak.
I started lifting in junior. I don't know I was ignorant as far as working out, but I was made to work out a lot. And so it was just one of those things that like you just did. Never loved it, never hated it, just did it a lot. What I do know that I probably did too much was like neck exercises. And I don't feel like people are like rocking those a lot. And like we were just doing these like side and back and forward like neck exercises nonstop. And I thanked every single day I ever did one. Anytime you caught me at South Padre Island at Coca-Cola Beach, because your boy was like walking around with like Dwight Howard-esque traps at the time. And I was like, this is all I got. I don't care about anything else. Anything that emphasizes my traps.
You're a trap
Oh,
guy.
these beads? accentuate the traps. This is all we're here for.
That puka shell necklace.
Trap guy living in an ab
Accentuate
guy
the trap.
world.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
I was never.
as soon as I saw David from the Real World New Orleans, you know, the da ba boo dee da boo bee. First time I saw him, I was obsessed with getting traps like that. And then I realized, it took me a while, but I realized there's a lot of genetics at play there. That's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. And that's okay.
You would have had to Malcolm Gladwell your way there. Like anytime you see the Instagram people like doing the jaw exercises, you're like, "Ah, okay, man, yeah, you didn't just pop
Jaw
that bad boy in this morning
exercises.
and like show up with those gills. No, bruh,
Yeah, I'll never be a trap
you
guy.
were boxy.
Sure, you can only do so many shrugs. I see people at the gym doing shrugs and they do it with like the shoulder roll. And I'm like, dude, I've seen so many videos on why you shouldn't do it that way.
Just straight up. You
Yeah.
go shoulders back and straight up. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, I think you want a little bit of flexion, a little bit of shoulder flexion.
Right.
KJ, what was your PR on the clean snatch?
All right.
God dang it, KJ. Or
This
Randy.
guy.
What?
This
It's
guy.
a weightlifting term.
I remember
You jerk it.
8th grade is when they finally put weights into the Bird football locker room. And it was like, all right, well, now we're lifting weights. So it would go, you started, there was flat bench, then you'd go to the squat rack. It was a circuit. Then you would go to incline bench, and then you finished on trap bar or hex bar, deadlift. But there was such a minimal emphasis on form and shit
Mm-hmm.
that like it's amazing. I wonder how many kids, like me included, like did some detrimental things to their bodies like at that point in time. They would tell you like basics, but they were not. There were only like 4 coaches in there, and there was not enough to watch everybody. It was very dumb.
Well, yeah, they'd one for each circuit, but then you'd have 5 groups of kids rotating, and one person standing at the edge of it as you're like hunched over a bar, trying to clean snatch straight into your shins. And you're like, oh, I messed that one up. Like, yeah, no shit. You know that you did.
The
Your skin is no longer on your shin.
first time you step up to the trap bar and you don't have calluses yet, and you go and you lift it up, and you finally are like, okay, what if we got like somebody's like workout shirt and like wrapped the bar with it, like on the handles? We got made fun of so hard for doing that. So hard.
It's better than wearing gloves in the gym, though.
Better than you can't be glove guy.
You can't be glove guy.
No.
I'd rather my palms just completely wear off and bleed everywhere than be glove guy at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But that shifts at some point. I feel like there's like an incline to like the amount of pee that you are before you wear all this auxiliary equipment. But then somewhere on the other side of that apex are the people that are also carrying a gallon of water. And the guy who's like in there for professional lifting, weightlifting class. And he's like chalked up and hand strapping at the same time, wearing a belt in and out of the gym. I'm like, okay, now you're just all decked out with accessories.
I think
Everybody else, total peace.
belts have kind of fallen out of favor. I don't see them very often.
Makes your
Squat.
back weak.
I was never a belt
It's like
guy.
the workout barefoot idea. Is that the concept that's going? I've contemplated dabbling in the family membership of a local gym situation, athletic, whatever they call it here. They call them something, athletic club. To which I know that Lifetime is absolute top tees. Unfortunately, I don't have them here locally.
Top
When it comes to like having a pool membership and other shit for the kids. But like, what's one to expect from like oh, hey, you can just go play off in this segmented area? Like, what's the minimum expectation, not pool included, for like what your kids are about to go do?
Dylan's done it.
Yeah, there's a children's center at the Lifetime South Austin, and Parks used to love going to it, actually. He liked it. They had like a little maze back there, a little mini basketball court. There's an outside area with like kickballs and shit they play with, or they can also like color and shit. He liked it. It was fun.
Makes sense. I feel like I remember using like an N64 at whatever, like not Planet Fitness, whatever it was in Arlington by the Parks Mall, that my dad would like drag us to. And I just remember going in and be like, all right, we'll run through this like jungle gym situation, and then I'm heading beeline straight to whatever gaming system is like hooked up to the wall over there. So Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I'll keep the folks out there posted if I become Gym family. I'll start recutting this clay back into diamonds.
Okay.
Damn, look
Just-
at that. Look at that.
Just a
Workout banter.
ball of clay waiting to be sculpted, this KJ.
Just sleeping giant.
That's right.
People always say just a little effort, a little attention. Who knows?
Bro, muscle weighs more than fat.
You
Is it-
always say
It's
that.
a thing people used to say, and I never really understood why that was. I was just like, yeah, for sure. Okay. So what do I do with that info? Anyway. Well, that was a good show. Shout out to all our sponsors. Rowback. Dylan was rocking a Rowback hoodie earlier.
Fleece, actually.
A fleece.
Yeah, first time wearing it. It's
Oh my
quite
God.
warm. In fact, too warm to wear in the studio. That's why I took it off. It's great, though. Hoodie gang going crazy over there, over at rollback.com. They have a couple different versions, a lightweight tech material one, and then a heavy boy, heavy girl.
That hoodie goes so hard.
It's awesome.
It's,
I love it.
It's going to get real cold here down Texas way
Yeah,
in a couple days, and that hoodie is going to be a big player for me.
absolutely.
It's my workout gear, not just the hoodie, but the shorts. I just learned the 5-inch seam.
You guys learned about this, and now you're clamoring for a package to be delivered here. And
I need
get
a
it.
package in a bad way.
I will choose the 7-inch inseam shorts, as I
Oh.
like to conceal the thighs a little bit more than you guys do. I think I'm also higher cut. I'm high cut.
To each-
Yeah, you're
to each
basically
their
John
own,
Jones.
But that's not frat. That's so not frat.
It's the least fret thing about me. I think is it's the fact that I prefer the 7-inch.
I just want my Rowback polo to cover the shorts.
yeah.
My
We
extra
can-
large
We
Rowback.
can make that. We'll get you an extra large polo and then the 5-inchers, and that should do the trick. Washed 20 will get you 20% off at checkout. Is a one-time use code, so don't just buy one item; you'll regret that.
So, man, KJ, I hated to do the show today. I know you were immersed in TGL, which we got back to back to back today. President's Day special. What'd you think?
I saw my first TJL commercial since we've talked about it, and I thought to myself, I feel like I've been talking about this show more than I've heard about it. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts were on them going all in on President's Day.
It's kind of like the NBA does on Christmas or like MLK. What?
Nothing, because I knew MLK was coming next.
It's a holiday that they do.
So my thought was like, okay, so if they were just hammering President's Day, like I want the presidents to be more like go like real all in on President's Day. Like they need to like embrace, okay, this is a day to celebrate me, motherfucker. Like the acting
Okay.
president.
How about
That's
this?
that.
How about this? Every President's Day, all the living presidents, assuming they are of sound mind, not naming names, Get-
Roll all of them out.
get together and do a pod. President's Pod once a year. No sponsors. Maybe there are sponsors. No. USAID? No sponsors. They get together, they drop a pod, and they just talk about presidential shit.
I mean, I'd listen.
I probably
sure.
would.
It would be absolute dog shit.
You know
It'd be Rogan would be diving to be the host of this. Like,
Oh God.
and maybe that's the big spin is like, okay, who's going to be the facilitator this year?
Stephen A.
And depending on who's the sitting president, like they kind of get to pick,
With all due
or maybe
respect.
the past president does. So like, it could be Rogan, could have been Howard Stern one year,
Okay, hold on. How do I do this in like?
Joy Behar.
It's not Joy Behar.
They have to have like some type of comedian to make it fun. Like they can't just have like Wolf Blitzer or some like
Kevin
you know,
Hart.
Yeah, need some real.
We'll get to him later.
How about we get Kevin Hart? No, I like Stephen A. With all due respect, I'm going to do this in my voice. With all due respect, Mr. Obama, Mr. President, you drone striked. Okay, anyway, it's not as fun unless I do
Yeah,
that.
it could get dark real fast.
Now, Barry, I'm gonna let him finish, but
If W and Barry got in there, I think they're like boys. Like they'd have some fun.
and Shannon Sharp's just passing the ball around, like asking them about their day. So what's the day look like? Walk me through a day.
That's pretty
You're back in
good.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Dude,
the
Donnie's
day
a
look
wild
like for
card,
you?
though. You put Trump in there, there's no telling what's going to happen.
You can't have him in there. He's gonna tank.
He's
it.
just on speaker. He's not present like in person. He has to be not visibly present, but he just interrupts on speaker.
Dude. Arguably, you could get McAfee to host that thing. Probably not a bad idea.
It'll save you cost on one chair. Just give him something to stand on half the time.
You think he'd wear a suit, or is he? You gotta let him be McAfee.
All right, fellas, coming up, big day, important day here. We've got national champion, Super Bowl champion, Bobby C joining us. But before that, we go back to Gitmo. It's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get thoughts from Barry and the team.
Gitmo. Dude, does Gitmo ever? Do you ever think about Gitmo and just how it kind of does it ever blow your mind that we just have like a thing there?
It's legitimately, they're repainting it. They're getting landlord special right now.
I mean, like at some point, it's like, man, y'all can have this shit back.
I can't believe that Harold and Kumar went there. It's crazy.
That brings me to another option. Anthony Anderson. Roll him and his mama up there.
TGL was
Sorry.
good though.
I think we're on to something.
Can I say something real quick about the TGL? We were watching. It was in overtime. I don't need to explain to y'all, especially KJ, like what that means. But you kind of go to a penalty PK style situation where you're hitting pitch shots closest to the pin. So you go one, and then the other team goes, and then whoever gets closer gets that point, right? Tommy Fleetwood goes second. He makes his, which is very cool. It's all hyped, but it's just 1 point. Kind of feel like, and then they end up losing because next up, Sahith Theegala missed it. Didn't miss it, but he wasn't close. And then that was that. If you make it, I'm actually doing real-time TGL analysis here. If you make it in the pitch, that should count. That should be ball game. The other team should have a chance to match the make.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't, you should get the dub, no matter what,
Yeah, I don't hate that.
for your team.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no payoff there. As exciting as it was, and it was a great shot. There's no payoff. It's like, okay, it's the same as a 6-foot shot compared to a 7-foot shot. Like it's a point either way.
A windmill dunk still counts as 2 points.
Yeah. I agree.
KJ, what would you do to change the TGL to make it better?
Well, the fact that you already mentioned my boy from Southern California, I don't know if you know this, is Sahith Theegala. Not sure if you're aware of his background, but being that they're featuring wide range, diverse range of talent already, I think that's something that really brings a lot of attention to the event. But the number one thing I would change is probably it existing in parallel to the live calamity and like when everybody's beginning to return to interest of PGA, like the part of the season we're talking about. This is the absolute worst time for attention spans for golf. Like if this is a warm up for all the boys, we get it. If this is your spring training, sure. But for me, the chunk of season in which like I need more golf is not right now. Like the countdown to the Masters has already begun. Let me enjoy that. But put this filling in some of the blanks between your FedEx Super World Cup. So that's what I would change. It's the time of the year where we're talking about it.
Okay.
After the final major, you probably need to start beginning to like ramp this shit up then. Because you've got obviously the beast that is football turning its engine on. And I know that's what you're trying to dodge, but you're not realizing like that's right now half the freaking country as mine is, as I live in, like it's too fucking snowy to really be all dialed in and golf brain. And I know that we're like, trying to begin to think about simulator world. And there's a ton of those in Madison. It's a big presence, but that doesn't mean people are waking up saying, I want to watch simulator on TV. I think you need this in the fall or late summer as you're like coming out of the majors.
Is it going to run like throughout major season, like after
Wraps up right before Masters, I think. Sometime in March is when the season ends.
Okay.
We are officially in like me caring about golf stage. You got End of January, you had Pebble Beach, the AT&T
Yeah.
Pro-Am. Waste Management, you had Phoenix Open, which, okay, we're watching. We're watching to see if the kids get crazy. And then, of course, you have what we had this prior weekend, Genesis Open, normally at Riviera, but due to the fires, we're at TP, Torrey Pines. Dylan shot a 76 there once. So what course was it? South course, North
I
course?
didn't shoot a 76.
What'd you shoot?
It was like an 81. But I shot a backside 39.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome though.
It was a great round. Yeah. On the second hole, I found a bunker that I couldn't get out of, and it really torpedoed my confidence, and I pulled it together soon after and played some good golf.
a story of perseverance.
That's right.
I was going somewhere with that, but what I'm saying is, yes, to your point, we're watching golf. We're not gonna sit here and do a whole segment slobbing Ludwig because he's a great golfer. He's the future of European golf. He's very handsome. He's in great shape. He won yesterday. We're not gonna do that. He went to Tech. He's inexplicably handsome. We're not going to do that. But we're just bringing this up to say, you know what the TGL has that Liv does not have? Serena.
Television coverage?
And television coverage. It's not on at 2 a.m.
Money.
Money.
A rotating green.
A green that undulates with like the press of a remote control or something.
Yeah, why
I will
is Serena
never
there?
get tired of hearing about that green.
She owns
Like-
some of the LA
okay.
team.
Like every time every time it comes on, TGL, they mention the green as they should. Like I'm all for the reset. I'm all for the give me 2 minutes of like meeting with the technology experts on how they put the green together and how they designed it because it's the coolest shit. Like I'm happy it exists. I think they did a great job with the SoFi Center.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they named the room. It's weird to me when I think of it like, oh, hey, here's just a big empty box in the backyard of all these players in South Florida. It's like they are all just, they drive down the street going to a warehouse and here we are. It's like that part's a little strange to me. But again, I don't know. I don't mean to bring it back to football, but like if this is the UFL, the Spring Football League, and you throw this in between the Hall of Fame game and the season really getting started, like I don't know that my brain's on alternative football in that moment. I'm like trying to gear up for the real deal and like re-slot where everything was. So to me, not mentally there right now, but I hope that it does well enough to like give me a round two to be prepared next year now that I know what we're doing here.
Okay.
That's a reasonable take.
I got stars, man. The people show up.
Just
Players
sucks.
show up.
Sucks that their best match thus far was at 2:00 on Monday.
Yeah. We talked about that the first couple weeks. Like the blowouts in the first 2 weeks were a problem.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
This is what, week 5, week 4. So I don't know. I'll continue to show up and check it out, but I'll be 1,000% honest. Until the promotion for today's event, I don't feel like I've been, when I'm casually checking in on ESPN, like they're not hitting me in the face enough with like, hey, TGL's happening and it's happening on Tuesdays or whatever it's like normal day is.
Will DeFries informed me before the show that Man U is on relegation watch. He said it's in. Odds are it doesn't happen, but it is very much a scenario that is real. And he said he wanted to come on and talk if Manchester United, if you don't know footy, like we do, he will want to come on and do a segment or two to talk relegation.
That would be a big deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I don't really have the comp, but it feels like a big deal. I don't know if it's a legacy team, a blue blood team, but it's a team.
Yeah. It definitely is, right?
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. Who all was following the Four Nations, KJ, Dylan?
You know what? This weirdly, like was not on my radar at all. I didn't know it was happening until like our group chat started blowing up and the TL started popping, and I was like already too late to the party. I don't know how I missed the announcement of this or that it was happening, but I just caught some highlights, which was mostly fisticuffs on the ice.
Right as the event began. I don't know that I expected like all new garb. And what caught my attention first was Canada sweaters because they look kind of fucking dope. The US ones actually look decent too.
All the sweaters look pretty dope on these teams.
For a one-off event, there were really no misses aesthetically, which is a dumb thing to say. But every All-Star game and every sport historically has had like some trash-ass uniforms. Baseball, NFL, basketball, like it's always been some weird, janky shit most of the time. And for this one, I was like, wait, damn, this looks great. And I tried to start thinking, wait, is this a World Cup situation? Like it's a biannual thing, like what's going on here? And then I put all the pieces together after a little research. And I mean, it got 4 million people to watch. You know, that's Maction level. I appreciate that.
Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the United States. A little bit of bad blood between Canada and the United States right now. I'm not really sure what that's all about. I think it might be this Kendrick Drake shit. I don't know.
Oh, maybe they're playing Bad Blood.
Ooh. Kendrick famously on the remix. Good poll. So I threw out a tweet because our group text, Dylan and I are in another group text, shout out to the Lutes, where this was really kind of popping. Everybody was kind of like geared up, but also like sad that we're all 39, 40, 41, 42 and like not at a bar watching it, like just being like, you know, toxically patriotic. And
Yep.
like
I believing.
yeah, like chanting and then just picking a fight. But the way this thing went off, you get those first 3 fights just immediately. You get the booing of the national anthem, which is a thing that they've been doing. Who cares? It's funny. I think it's funny. Be interesting to see if we boo theirs, because you know, if we see them again.
Yeah, there should be a little friendly bad blood. Hopefully, it's friendly. Little friendly bad blood with the neighbors to the north. That's how it should be, right?
It's great.
Yeah, I think so
USA,
too.
Mexico, and soccer.
Yeah,
Bad blood. We don't
Yeah.
like it. That's always chippy. This should be chippy.
So it adds a lot to an exhibition like this, and it was fun, man. The fighting was fun. The booing, I say bring it on too. There's no harm in booing our song like that.
Caught that dub. So we are going to run it back with Canada in the championship here on Thursday. Oof.
I will be watching. Someone doesn't care. This is going to be great.
So we are playing them again.
Yep.
In the championship.
Yeah.
It's just, it's official.
Okay.
As of today. Wait, yeah. I guess that just wrapped up then.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it just did.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was the U.S. performance against Canada in the first game that kind of got everybody like, oh, wait, this could happen because, you know, Canada's leading in the International Hockey Foundation, I'm going to guess. Federation. Ice Hockey Federation rankings.
It's not
Kind
charity.
of like the FIFA rankings, if you will. One note here, number 3 in the IHF rankings as of the time that this event was announced, specifically excluded due to a little ongoing conflict. That being Russia, which I kind of forgot about how many different like sporting organizations, institutions were like, hey, this is how we're going to punish Russia. Which brings me back to this, like, would we care if Russia was in this? Like, that would be more booze, and I'd kind of be for it. Like, you'd have a villain there. Like, we need that part.
Yeah, I think you will see some additions going forward. Right? You got to get Russia in there. You have to.
Canada, Finland, Russia, the U.S. are the top 4 teams. Were the top 4 teams at the time of like this event being created, but obviously that's not who was being represented there.
This happening on NBA All-Star Weekend also, and which was we'll talk about in a minute, was widely panned for a number of reasons. And you get this, and it's like these aren't like no-name players. There's like the best of the best playing, and they're going hard. And you have dudes who are getting hurt, and you do have fighting, like we mentioned. It's pretty sick, and I hope it stays. I hope it has staying power. I don't know what the long-term plan is, but it's pretty dope. Hockey does it right, man.
One thing hockey doesn't do right, that this event has highlighted for me is maybe I was spoiled being a Dallas Stars fan and being in Dallas for so long that even the most mid of the faces for Dallas, I'm thinking of like the Ben brothers, are just okay looking guys. Obviously, you have exceptions to the rule where you've got like great looking dudes like Tyler Seguin as like the face of an organization for years. But hockey also has some of the top players in their sport. Sorry, Cale Makar, you're coming to mind here.
All right.
Who are just real mid-looking guys.
They're not look. It's a gritty sport.
But not even like ugly dudes. Like these are nerdy looking dudes. And I'm like, what is happening to my sport here? My sport. Well, please asterisk that like 5 times. Everybody's got teeth. Everybody looks like, they could set up a pivot table. I don't know. It's just, that's the other element that's missing here.
So you want hotter dudes? What's happening here?
Hotter dudes or like rougher guys, one or the other. That's why Sean William Scott was so great in Goon. Like he kind of gave you a little bad boy with a face.
Randy's going to star in the Goon sequel.
It's true. It's not no hockey at all.
It's just his little garage apartment he lives in.
Starring Paul Giamatti and me.
Yeah, I don't know. This is cool. It's going to fucking suck if we lose.
I know.
I'm going to stay off the TL.
When is the final?
Thursday.
20th? Yeah.
What time is puck drop?
7, I believe.
Okay, good.
I threw out a tweet like in the midst of the hype, like getting into it, like just like obviously like a joke, but it was Pledge voice. Like, oh, do we do a tail whiff on your tweet?
Tail whiff?
Well, it kind of got a little bit of buzz. It got some traction, and I got some people chirping me like, "Oh, Trump guy now, huh?"
Oh god!
It's like, all right.
Just having a little fun on
I
Twitter.
thought I would do the thing, just kind of.
Oh, yeah. 77 million of us are, huh?
Yeah. Is just a mistake. Just a good reminder. You don't have to tweet.
Just get a popular vote map at the ready and respond to any question like with that as your Uno card with a popular vote map. And then they're like, oh, well, doesn't matter.
Dude, I'm getting
Doesn't matter which side you're taking. Just take that.
I'm gonna get a custom USA jersey. That's 51, man.
Oh, it's pretty sick.
Sick, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
dude.
Dominican. Oh, it's not a DR supporting.
Hold on. I want to hear more from Dominican KJ.
Bernie fucking Williams.
Do your
That's not even good.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
I can't. Let's keep.
Hey, I got breaking news from PFF College.
Oh,
Colin Simmons was your highest graded true freshman edge rusher.
I saw that. 88-ish?
82.6.
Oh, that's okay.
So
Edge rusher.
Well,
is
who had the
prequel.
highest win percentage of defensive ends in all of college?
what was that, Randy?
It had to be Abdul Carter, right?
I was saying Edge rusher is the prequel to Goon. To go back to that joke.
Oh, you setting booty traps? Sorry, that was a good ace. Good
Randy always takes it a little far.
joke for one.
Yeah, he's a dog.
I've been watching. I follow some local trainer. I don't know who it is because I'm a sucker for like. I like seeing some workout, some like some athletes I know working out. It gives me a little motivation. Not that I'm gonna go try it, but it's like fuck yeah, getting it. And I saw some vid of Colin in there
Oh yeah.
getting some work, and I was like, damn, that could have been me had I just been.
Had you been raised in Duncanville?
Like better
Colin
form on
Simmons?
Damn it! He literally went to my junior high. Dang it! Just with the right focus, it could have been.
Yeah. It could have been
Cut
you,
from
man.
the same cloth.
Me. Oh man, I just wasn't
One
high
was
cut.
the tag.
Oh, that's funny, dude. I did. You know, there was the Under Armour. There was a game this weekend. Under Armour Next.
Oh yes, yeah.
So there was a lot of like stuff going around, like who had blah blah blah. And then you started seeing some stuff from like high school athletes, because you know if you follow like Dave Campbell's or the Mike Roaches of the world, I saw some next up some guys coming up through Duncanville. There's this 8th grader.
Class of what, 28 or something?
Dude, there's this kid, Hunter Adams. He's like 5'10". He looks like he's like 190. He's a quarterback. There's no way this kid's gonna end up a quarterback. He's in 7th grade, but the dude has like I'd like to see him and Dylan have a long toss competition.
Are these kids transferring in to play football at Duncanville, or is it just a weird area where it just
I think some of them. I mean, like that part of Dallas County, like you get like there was a line, the city of Dallas. So there was a neighborhood. The first neighborhood I lived in when we moved to Duncanville was called the Woods. The Woods was technically in Dallas. So you have Dallas kids from there, but then you also get Oak Cliff is right bordering Duncanville as is like South Dallas, and you get a lot of kids coming from there. But now I think there is like, if you've got a kid and you're like a 6th grader and he looks like he's, you know, performing better than the other kids, like, fuck, you get him in the Duncanville system, and next thing you know, maybe he can compete. And if he can't, maybe he'll go to Red Oak or something. You know, there's yeah.
Okay, unnecessary shot.
What? That's what they had.
I know. Whatever the quarterback's name is, that always comes to mind.
Oh yeah,
Just stuck
That's-
out.
you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. But anyway, no, it was just funny that this stuff. I was like, damn it. I was like, I refused to follow the career of a kid until he makes varsity.
Okay, good.
Until he reclassifies. While we're on this note and talking about this area,
Booby.
as to David's point, yeah, we've got Duncanville is just adjacent, you know, maybe a 7-minute drive from Oak Cliff and South Oak Cliff High School, where SMU starting quarterback Kevin Jennings is from. And then you've got Cedar Hill, which probably not as many names recently, but has won their fair share of state titles under Texas Tech's current head coach, Joey McGuire.
Mhm.
And then Dylan's old coach, 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from there
Claude.
at DeSoto High School.
That's
Old
right.
Claude, stop all that fighting, Mathis.
That's right.
I don't know why I attributed those words to him in the moment, but you know, whatever. DeSoto's not far from all of that as well. And DeSoto's known for, Von Miller's probably the top name out of DeSoto on a national level. Shamar Turner? No, that's not right. He went somewhere else. But anyways, number 1 wide receiver who was class of 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Reclassified to being class of 2026 and is now like immediately ranked as one of the top players in the 2026 class. So to David's point about following, what would that be? Sophomores going into their junior year. Now it's going to be his senior year next year. Ethan Booby Foster.
Feaster.
I'm sorry.
Booby
Feaster. Thank
Feaster.
you. That's why we're doing this.
First
all
name,
time.
real name Ethan.
All-time name.
Yeah. And I think he's pivoting a little bit to go by Ethan. Everything I saw like associated with the announcement was like Ethan Feaster, 5-star athlete or whatever. And then in the caption, they would call him Booby Feaster. I'm like, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
DeSoto, Von Miller. You got Tatum Bell. You got Marcus Tubbs, and also Jonte Cook.
Jonte Cook, who was just arrested for the second time in 3 weeks the other day. Unfortunately,
Yeah, it's sad. I don't know what's
that
going
young
on
man
there.
is seemed to have lost his way.
We got to help this dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't be.
There,
You can't be looking at middle school because you're getting very close to baby Gronk. He's like 7th grade.
We've got offers from literally every school.
Literally about the same age. as
His
that kid.
commitment means absolutely nothing, though. He's decommitted from like 12 schools already, Texas
Yeah,
included.
I just hope he has the right team around him going forward. Doesn't seem like
That's
he does.
true. We got to start paying attention to Diesel Dart when we get down in those depths. So
Oh God,
I don't think we talked about that here.
Brett
But
and I
Jackson
did.
Dart with an X having a fucking younger brother named Diesel it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the many factors that you have to think about when it comes to
That's good.
recruiting.
That's good.
And speaking of, are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year?
Yes.
I already know the answer is yes. Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. Where my real eaters at? Eating Factor, that's where. They're dietitian approved and ready to eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Last week we had a little group text going, "Whoa, went home. There's a big old box of Factor
Oh,
on
yeah,
the doorstep."
baby.
That's a good
Mhm.
feeling. It arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 80 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals that are tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like calorie smart meals, protein plus, or you want to go keto? Let's go keto. Let's do it. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab and go snacks, and more add-ons. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals. Based on a randomized controlled clinical style with Factor Keto, results will vary depending on diet and exercise. Just reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. I had a pork chop recently.
Ooh, that's next. That's the only one I have left that I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, you think I left anything on that plate?
Probably not.
No, the answer is no, I ate it all.
Did you get the queso fundido one?
Yeah,
Had that today.
Oh my god, it is so delicious.
really good. Eat smart with
Yeah.
Factor. And get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. All-Star Weekend. Let's talk about the good. Mac
We're on the
McClung.
back end of the All-Star weekend.
We had
Mac McClung,
Texas Tech, just a huge weekend for Tech.
too much dip favorite. Mac McClung, who they bring up from the G League once a year to put on a dunking display, and he's quite good at it. Turns out, his 3rd championship in a row.
Stephon Castle of the Spurs appears to have something. He appears to be a guy. He finished 2nd. He's a guy who I think can compete in this thing for years to come. So he's a contributor in the NBA. It wasn't a complete wipeout, but it was like, okay, well, this is Mac's thing. The thing he does that's really dope is he does it on the first try, or at least
Which
he
is
did this year.
huge.
And that really is a nice trick to have, right?
Nate, what's the short guy from the Knicks?
Robinson.
Nate Robinson ruined the dunk contest. I think that's why they decided to retool it, because he would make like a 17th dunk. Like, dude, you probably should have gone with something more makeable to begin with. But
Yeah.
interest started to fall off, I think, when that was going on. So for someone like that, the first make is crucial for winning these things.
He jumped over a car.
Saw that. Yeah.
Mac McClung, that is.
Mac McClung.
Not Nate.
Mac
Nate's
McClung.
celebrating his new kidney, which I'm happy that he's received.
That's true. He did recently have an
Did not
emergency
know that.
kidney transplant.
Congrats to
Thank
him.
you, KJ, for that note.
I just wanted to make sure that like that story was on a positive note, because over the last 3 years it had been like declining in joy, and so I didn't want us to be trashing Nate and then find out like
Didn't
he was making one last plea.
Jake Paul, was that Jake Paul's first like celeb boxing, and he just absolutely flattened him?
And then I think not related to that, but it was not long after that he realized that he had been battling kidney disease and was like facing kidney failure and was on the transplant list for years. But hey, he's got one. Great things happen over there at Unos.
Good for him,
Um,
man.
Do you remember a Grand
Sorry.
X, Dylan? Can I share an anecdote? When we got like this lead that Nate Robinson was gonna like make a comeback, but to the NFL to be like a kick returner, punt returner, or something.
I remember that.
I don't really know what happened with that. It didn't last long,
Yeah.
but I remember it being like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Hell of
Nothing
an
more
athlete.
intriguing than catching like a star athlete from one sport's high school tape for another sport, and then you're just like extrapolating like what could have been off of very little film. Like we've
Mhm.
all seen the Allen Iverson highlights in football, at least briefly, and I think Nate Robinson had a pretty fire tape as well.
He was probably the best athlete, like best football player on his team, and probably in his district, wherever he was.
I saw
Just
a
so depressing.
clip the other day, like I forgot what year this was. This was probably a few decades ago. Some Olympic javelin like gold medalist. They tried to turn him into a major league pitcher, and they had him throwing from a mound, and he just had no idea what he was doing. And he looked really stupid trying to throw a baseball, and he was throwing it like 55 miles per hour. Like, what are we doing here? You think that's going to translate to baseball?
That's the
You think you can throw
the muscle memory.
a 12-6 curveball? Like, what are we doing?
The muscle memory that guy has to throw one thing and one thing only.
I know.
It's like, well, now you're going to throw a ball instead of a spear.
Yeah, just very different throwing motions.
What's so funny?
I think the word spear.
Just thinking
tripped him
about
up.
his historically racist recruitment
Yeah.
pitches.
Okay.
You didn't say anything wrong.
It's
I'm just
spear-like.
way out of pocket.
Yeah, it's a spear.
Oh,
You always have
said
to wonder when KJ goes
sphere
off
with
screen.
an H in there. You said sphere with an H. I thought you said instead of a spear.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to think of another way to describe a javelin.
But you're accurate. Again, I am out of pocket here. I'm not calling myself this wrong.
Tisk.
When KJ goes off screen to laugh, you're like, oh no.
That's how Dikembe got into the Hall of Fame. Anyways. Let's talk about old Mac McClung.
He dunks the right way.
Did you see his post dunks like interview?
I think I'd switch to I don't know. I was probably getting a beer.
You weren't in on Allie Force. I only bring it up because
like to
she
be.
or whatever, whoever it was, I don't know. She kind of touched on the whole like, you're here from the G League, blah blah blah. You're gonna be back next year, and he let off like, I don't know, this might be it for me. And then he kind of trailed into, well, if they want me back, then we can talk about it. And he wasn't like super enthusiastic about it. It wasn't like he was trying to lead into like, oh, you guys want me back? Like he looked kind of done with it.
3 in a
Which,
row.
going back to the initial point, like, I don't know if the dude is just like the most nails, like ice water in his veins kind of guy, but I don't think we've seen somebody so relaxed at doing something so like, you're a G League player on what is the absolute, maybe not biggest stage. It's not like it's life or death here, but you're going to get roasted if you embarrass yourself on social media and in person. But he didn't. He shows up, performs, like I said on the first time. Like, that's incredible.
Which is why no stars, you don't see LeBron or Ja, although we'll get to that in a minute, Giannis doing it. Because it's like they have everything to lose. Like as far as like they're going to, they're not going to technically lose anything, but they'll get roasted on Twitter and,
Yeah,
some people can't handle
For
that.
LeBron to have never done this though is weak to me. Like even like Michael Jordan did this.
Agree.
Just do
Agree.
one. The people want to see it.
It would be fun.
Absolutely.
It would be fun to see.
Okay, you don't win, big deal.
What's the harm? Like, baseball, I understand. We've had the stories written and like, hey, let's look at this player whose swing was affected by hitting in the All-Star, the Home Run Derby. Or your shot was a little bit off or you were a little bit tired from the 3-point contest. Sure. Like, I would be on board if they just had like a casual shoot around session. Screw the scores. Like, get the clock out of here. None of that. But we all understand that they're going to kind of have a warm up, and you get this a little bit leading up to the All-Star game. but like do it on Saturday night or whatever before the dunk contest where LeBron and people are just out there fucking around. But it's also understood like they're going to debut some wild shit. They're not going to come up with 5 dunks and be sweating out scores and all this shit. But they're going to go do some stupid shit. They're not going to roll out a Kia, but you're going to understand like, oh yeah, if they wanted to, they could go all the way with this if they wanted. Like, that's why I don't get why it's so low tier or unknown dudes who are just like in this contest every single year. Like, if the stakes are the problem, remove the stakes. Nobody gives a shit. Like, what do the stars want to do? I don't care about the competition. Like, what does it take to get them out there just to dunk a couple times?
Yeah, they should have music playing. They should just have everybody out there standing at the court, just one after the other, less formality, and then at the end they all get to vote. Like they voted on themselves or something. I don't know. But Ja tweeted like, "Oh, watching this makes me want to do it. Might do it next year. What do you think?" He's probably not going to do it, but that would be fun. I think him and Mac McClung are probably similarly sized, unless I'm way off here.
Are you guys ever served on Instagram videos of this dude, Isaiah Rivera, who is best dunker in the world, quote unquote, he has a 51-inch vertical. He's unbelievable. I would like to see like a kid like this go out there and compete against like the best, like just get the best dunkers in the world out there too. And this dude's unbelievable.
Oh, so he's like chin above the rim guy.
Yeah, he's like he has an insane. I think he's 6'2", and it legit gets his entire head above the rim.
Here's a video of him on Dunkademics.
he's unbelievable.
From August 2022, is your SEO the same?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I think this brings up a good point and maybe a part of the issue I have with All-Star Weekend. So if we do have that casual, just shoot around style dunk off, it should only be held if Jello's able to perform his hit single in the background, which may give him some distractions to remember all the words to his song the first time he performs it in front of a national audience. Did you guys catch that performance?
I did. People were juxtaposing it, Dylan, with what was going on with the Four Nations. And then they're like, meanwhile, we got Skirt in that corner. Whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, he's like, I didn't expect to get to the third verse here.
No one has ever made it that far in that song. No offense.
How was it? As
It
expected?
was a little awkward.
I mean, he wasn't. He performed Friday, so it's like the Rising Stars night, not even a 3-point contest, I believe, not Saturday. But there was no stage, so it really struck me as my guess is he or his camp offered or requested the opportunity to perform, or it was a very last minute decision to add this performance in. But he did not seem very prepared or polished from a performance standpoint.
They probably thought this is going to go viral. This is going to be huge on social media. It doesn't matter if it's awkward in the moment. People are just going to post the clips and it's going to go mega vi. And they might have been right, although I didn't see it a lot. I saw some people like chirping about it, and then I went and looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, there's that.
The NBA and I mean all these leagues have so much control over what stays out there, reposted and posted that I'm still watching this guy's highlights. He's like one-handed under one leg without switching hands. And I agree.
Randy,
Let's get this guy out there.
I just threw Randy a link to a guy who is actually a listener. Remember the dude who came by, Alex Artizoni?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He does does like competitive dunking, and he told me I might be getting his story wrong, but I'm pretty sure he just like turned himself into a guy who had like hops. Like he said he just trained to like learn how to dunk and just got really, really good at it. And now
He wore moon shoes.
Yeah,
all
that's
through
our boy
junior
right
high.
there. That's a backer.
he did wear moon shoes.
I remember he actually went to the playground that Dylan broke his leg.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
to literally dunk on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Isaiah. This thing
Yeah, look at that. Look at that vertical.
from
Watch
the
this.
Isaiah
So
guy.
that's the Spud Webb vertical on a
Look at that.
non-5 foot.
Look where his head is.
That's insane. Little camera trick there, but still insane.
It's got to be hard on your knees when you come down from that high. It's just nuts, man.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty stupid.
Yeah, that's a really good dunk.
Uh,
Can he do it on the
This
biggest
does-
stage possible? On the biggest stage possible.
this
Having
does
the
make
time
me
of his
feel
life.
like dunking has the same problem skateboarding does in the X Games. Of like, it's a lot of buildup and a high chance of disappointment. So like, inevitably you're going to face that. But I agree. Get anybody out there. You need a dunking with the stars aspect to this. So you bring out all your influencers. Oh, that's where I wanted to go. All-Star Weekend. It's a 3-day event. It might be time to cut that back a little bit. Because the NBA has like locked itself into like showing all of these events. And in my head, it's always just been like, man, this is historically just known as the best place to be for strippers every year. Like, this is their Texas OU. You're going to keep your bar around all year based off this one weekend. And what you end up with is, can I please have a sporting event where I don't have to watch Drewski?
Mm.
Can I please have a sporting event without I show Speed or Kai Cenat or Mr. Beast showing up? Like, nothing against any of those individuals. I think they all create great content and, you know, so on and so forth. Rigby. At some point, like, I don't know, bring back boy bands. Like, we've got to be able to have somebody else like hold that position down, because right now you've got those 4 fellers, and then they're like, I don't know, what does the older part of the culture like that will be welcomed everywhere? Like, oh, and let's get Kevin Hart.
Well, he was bad.
So the NFL might realize like they're not going to do an Amy Schumer halftime show at the Super Bowl next year instead of going with the traditional music act. Like, they're realizing comedian is not going to carry the sporting event.
Yeah, he was kind of in a tough spot where it's like, hey, go say this, go do this thing. And it's just like, if you're following Twitter, like if you follow enough, NBA accounts, are like, too much Kevin Hart. To the point to where you could kind of see it on like the players' faces. They're like, all right, dude.
They had to carry like a 5-hour show with like 55 commercial breaks and explain to America 10 times what the hell was going on.
3 different
and why
games.
There's a robot dogs.
Inexplicable tribute to Inside the NBA, which, by the way, is not going away. It's just going to a different network.
But they won't do the All-Star game. But the producers made them hold all their fishing gear the entire time when they were like waxing a little bit emotional. It was, I don't know, man.
It was a little much.
It screamed like 10 producers showed up and they're like, hey, we've got a 3-day expo to do. And they just did everything. It's disorganized as shit, and it's bad TV.
To your point, KJ, about the strippers, don't ever forget, Bun B did tell us that she's 5'7", 139 pounds, 36, 24, 38, pretty fine brown. Bad little broad. I ain't seen her in a minute since the All-Star game, and I'm still trying to hit it.
Damn, that's a bar.
I think about that every All-Star game. I'm like, I wonder what that
Wonder
young
what
lady
she's up
looks
to.
like. I wonder what she's doing. I wonder if Bun B ever...
I mean, she's still
You know?
doing it.
Probably. This song's very old, but
That's what I'm saying.
she might be.
What if she's out there like trying to get the fluoride taken out of her local community's water supply?
There's actually a lot of studies, KJ.
Okay. I'm not.
She's in a
Sorry.
PTA. She's in a PTA meeting.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I should be able to choose. I shouldn't.
Keep
watch
going.
The news. I shouldn't watch the news up here. Both of those things have like bubbled up recently, pun intended. And it's just laughable.
Yeah, I watched most of my All-Star game via Kyrie highlights. I was like, oh, cool. Kyrie had some cool moments. That's pretty much all I cared about. So
Was it good that Luka wasn't there?
it would have hurt to see him and Kyrie like palling around. I probably would have been very, very sad because they would have been. They're still boys. And, Luka probably would have been there if LeBron hadn't waited until like 5 minutes before being like, by the way, I'm not playing. So
Yeah, that's all time shitty. Like, and I respect, like, he can do whatever the hell he wants, but he could have also, like, is this to secure the whole I've been invited and participated but didn't play? Like, what's the point?
I don't know. There's some aspect of it that I'm not thinking through, like to where like him being there is such a big, or him not him being there, but him like being named is such a boost to the NBA. I don't know. He could have gone either way. It's not like they would have been like LeBron he didn't make it. He's hurt. Like
He could have hosted it with Kevin Hart. They're buddies.
mm-hmm.
They do a commercial or two.
They're not
I
good.
don't know. LeBron is good at like laughing at himself and being made fun of. I do appreciate that part though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow,
that's all I got on NBA All-Star.
my kid tried to watch the new the newer Space Jam. I turned it on until the moment I realized, like, if I make this connection now, because he's seen a bunch of the older one, but then he can read a decent amount now, and so he saw that it said Space Jam. He wanted to watch that one, and I immediately was like, if he starts to connect and like understand LeBron's fame, and then like sees Luka there at some point, like I'm gonna then have to like he's gonna be like, oh, he's playing with Space Jam guy, and like he's going to be like, I'm shielding from the inevitable of like him becoming a Lakers fan out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately like I swear to you, I turned it off out of just pure broken heart bitterness. Like fucking, I don't know. It just seemed real pathetic. Like, oh, I'm not driving down that street. That's where she lived. Is what the move I pulled.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I know
Need to grow
exactly.
up.
I know the feeling. No, it's okay.
That new one stinks, by the way.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. You got Don Cheadle there, and all you want to do is you spend half the fucking movie in a server farm. What are we doing here, people?
I don't remember it that well. I just remember it
It
stinking.
was like an algorithm. I just remember it being about an app, an algorithm, and all this bullshit. Like they're trying to modernize it and do all this crap. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Just give me more Babs curves. That's all I needed. Here.
Okay.
All I needed here.
There he is. Give the guy a point.
Babs.
KJ needs some points on the board out there.
Babs curves, he said. Update, run it back real quick.
How old was she? I don't know, we don't have to talk about the tournament, but they're talking about expanding it to 76 teams now.
What tournament?
March Madness.
Why do we need
Oh,
more
okay.
teams?
I don't know. Shrink the game.
Because Purdue has.
What
to
did you
blow it
tweet
too.
that you posted that after something this weekend? I had a hearty chuckle. Go on, Randy.
I was
Is
just
Purdue
saying,
going to be
'cause
there?
just saying Purdue has to lose to a lower ranked team than they usually do. That's why.
Okay.
You lost the 1 seed, lost to an 18 seed.
Yeah.
I don't know what their plan is, but they're floating it. They're floating it through legit outlets that they're talking about expanding it to 76. It's like, all right. What are we
It was
doing?
Lola. It was Lola Bunny, by the way. Babs was the Tiny Toons one, so that could have got perverted. Let's go ahead and correct that for the record.
I'm just
Oh.
gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it as
He
is.
corrected it for the record.
'Cause that's what
Should've said.
happened organically.
Because I went to go search it. I'm like, why am I only getting the like weird preschool?
Lola Bunny, though.
Lola.
Shall we run it back?
Run it back.
The segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Randy can name several U.S. presidents.
That's true.
KJ used to bench 425. There's no faking the funk when it comes to being flat-footed.
You said that.
KJ was all traps in South Padre Island. Randy wonders what KJ's clean snatch PR is. KJ issued a reasonable TGL take. KJ wants hotter dudes in hockey. A lot of KJ in this one. Dave could have been just like Colin Simmons had he only been raised in Duncanville, Texas.
Confusing.
We hope baby Gronk has the right team around him. Dave mentioned real eaters during the factory read. Nate Robinson recently received a new kidney. And finally, KJ needed more of Babs curves in the new Space Jam.
It's like a
Real
bat.
Feasters was there to be had, by the way. That would have connected the dots quite well.
Shout out Booby Feaster of DeSoto High School. Hopefully he ends up in burnt orange, but not looking likely.
Where's his? What's your crystal ball projection?
The scuttlebutt says LSU going out around Baton Rouge way,
Where did DeCorian ended up at?
Oregon.
Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
You
I mean,
see,
could start there.
Tashard Choice just left Texas, going to the Detroit Lions to be their running backs coach. How about that?
What about Tashard Choice? Did he go to?
What did I say?
You say
Tashard, but you know,
Oh.
it
Yeah.
might be Tashard, and I just have never heard it. I
It's
don't know.
Sad
probably
to see him
Tashard.
go. He was a very well liked assistant coach for Texas.
He has a video from college that made the rounds when he was a Cowboy. It was him when it went in some. There's like some sledgehammer for like their rivalry game, and him get. It's like very much like a Ed Reed Miami type video if you can find it.
reuniting with Jameer Gibbs, who he coached at Georgia Tech.
Aw.
Did he play at Georgia Tech? Yeah, damn sure did.
He did.
Yeah, that's why it's in my head. I'm like, why is Georgia Tech coming to mind here? Yeah, sorry, I'm searching for a Coca-Cola beach photo.
Oh yeah, Lola Bunny's a problem. Let's get out of here.
You still call it a bunny toe, right? Not a can. Okay, anyways.
Don't-
All right, yeah, it's been good one. We'll see you.
Wow,
see you
KJ.
next
Bye.
God.